Yep, Vibe Show 97.9, home of the most exclusive interviews. Tonight we have an amazing guest joining us on the show, the one and only Amin Joseph. Y'all make sure y'all keep it locked in. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. Don't go nowhere. Oh! Vibe Show 97.9. I'm your host, Kano the Don, the Vibe King. And tonight we have an amazing guest, one of my favorites, joining us on the show tonight. I'm talking about actor and producer, the one and only Amin Joseph. Man, this is dope. What's up, my brother?
What's up,
man? My favorite is in the building, man. This is definitely a bucket list for me. I gotta thank you. I gotta thank LG Group. I gotta thank y'all so much for this amazing opportunity. Thank you for some of your time, man.
Let's go. Come on,
man. Listen, I'm serious. This is catching up on all. You know how you just like to watch it all, and you have been putting in so much work. I don't know if a lot of people was introduced to you just, with Snowfall, but you have really been putting in so much work over the years, just blessing us over the years, man. And I'm so impressed with all of the work. Definitely. Now, I definitely got a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about too. Big graduate from Howard University, what I'm saying, first and foremost. And a native of Harlem, New York. You know what I mean? Rich soil right there. Talk to me about just growing up in Harlem. I mean, New York, you know what I mean? The Mecca. What was that experience like for you just growing up, around so many different influences in your years?
Man, well, first of all, like my first job was at the Apollo Theater.
No way.
Yeah, that was my first job. One of my best friends, he got a job. He got a summer youth job. It was like this program in New York for kids in the city, city kids to get a job. And he first started working there, and then I applied, and they let us in. We were like 15 years old, something like that. So at that young age, I was able to see people like the late, great James Brown. I got to see Aretha Franklin and
what?
I mean, all type of acts. I got to see Michael Jackson perform, Janet Jackson, Heavy D and the Boys, to Notorious B.I.G., like just so many legends. So being able to watch their showmanship, watch how they entertained, how they had like a crowd enthralled, like people would just be like awestruck. I remember looking at the mezzanines, and the mezzanines be bouncing like, oh, yo, is the building gonna cave in? And people having so much fun.
Right.
So that was my introduction in a way to showmanship, entertainment, and also the business of acting.
Right. Because I was going to ask you that because, growing up, you can go a whole bunch of ways. And I was going to ask you, was there any other visions, sports or anything like that may have, may have been in the forefront before, experiencing all of this. And that's a lot that you experienced.
Yeah, I mean, there of course was other dreams that have been deferred. Now those things I'm able to maybe tap into um as a professional actor. That's the beautiful thing about being a professional actor, that if there's any other latent talents that you have, often you'll find ways to express those things in the craft, in the art.
Right.
So yeah.
That's dope. And you know what? You're the first person that ever really said that. And I never even really thought about it like that too. At being an actor, you still can fulfill it in a way. You know what I mean? You might have football dreams and end up landing a role, as an athlete in a film, or I never really thought of that. That's dope. That's dope. Now, acting though, you make it look so easy on film. The journey though, getting in the game, I know was not as easy as it looks when we see the after effects of it. Talk to me about some of the challenges though with deciding to take that path and wanting to pursue an acting career.
Um Whereas I probably can think about some challenges if I force myself to, just the way I'm structured, I think about the benefits.
Mm,
I think more that this craft is a transformational power that it had for me. It gave me a lot of purpose. It gave me a lot of focus and a vision. And
mm,
because of that, I've been able to actualize a lot of the other goals that I have in my life. I've been able to meet a lot of people that have poured into me. I've been able to pour into other people and inspire people, and people have inspired me because of this. So um I don't really necessarily look at it as the challenges, or that I could even inspire somebody based on some of the difficulties that I may have had. I think I can inspire people more from being a representation of following your goals, writing down, having a vision board, having a
mhm.
plan, um never never really never really focusing on the challenging aspects, but to look at why would you do something. Like, to me, it's not, sometimes it's about what you will do to do something. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
what will
right.
you go through? Will you jump through the eye of a needle into the fire for something that you're really passionate about, and still be able to keep your integrity of who you are, doing that, and know
Right.
that that may come with what some people call challenges, but you looking at it as like, yo, this is the experience. This is what I signed up for.
Wow.
Um, so that's how I kind of look at things. And I implore other people to look at it like that too, because I don't want to connect to any of my folks from our pain level, you know.
Mhm. You're right about that. We deal with enough of that already,
Yeah.
and that's a great point of view, and a vision and a way to look at that. I picked up a gem right there too, and I appreciate that. I really do,
Well,
because that's a whole nother way of looking at it. Because it is going to be challenges. That's just life, period. Whether acting, going to work, school, whatever, just life in general. It's always going to be a challenge when you
it
walk out of
is.
that.
But there's also speak no evil, hear no evil. You feel me? Like, I ain't
Right,
gonna power it, because I
right.
don't want no more of it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
We
Now,
done with that.
Harlem. Everybody know Harlem. Home of the swag, home of it's just we already know the nostalgia of it. But transitioning from Harlem, of course, going to LA, Hollywood, pursuing your dreams. Of course, I'm not even going to ask that. There was no challenges there. It had to be done. You know what I'm
It's just the
saying?
walk. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
the walk.
just the walk. Talk to me
I'm
about the
so I'm so
experience, though.
privileged though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
Yeah.
privileged. That's why I don't spend no time on it, because I'm so privileged. I got so many teachers and instructors and aunties and uncles and nephews that have believed in me. I've got friends that have loaned me bread. I've had, you know, teachers that have allowed me to to take their instruction in their classes for free or bartering, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just so many blessings, man, and to make a career. And oftentimes, um, you know, for me to look at the tough, difficult things, it's putting the onus on me and not on
Mm-hmm.
God and not on how how fortunate I had to be for all of these things to work in my favor, so that I'm still growing, because I'm still growing as an artist. I'm still growing as a businessman. I'm still growing as a family man and as somebody, you know, in our community, with influence. So yeah, that's what I want to pour into. So part of that journey coming from Harlem is to realize that, is to get that
Right.
mindset of like, yo, what am I going to do and how I'm going to talk about the people once I get where I'm going, where I know I'm going. Where maybe
Ooh.
not everyone can see where I'm at right now, where I think I am right now, you know, but that
Right.
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. There's going to be some people that are going to speak promise into me,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Speak things into me that I didn't even see in myself at perhaps certain times. And I'm going to ride that energy. And that's what I did. I rode that energy and I continue to ride it. It's, is a, you know, it's a source that I've been built up by my community. I've been built up by Harlem. I've been built up by Howard University. My mother's from South Carolina. I've been built up by my family, Antigua, West Indies. I've been built up by my community that I met out in Los Angeles.
Right.
And and yeah, and that's the backbone. And I have a beautiful family and all that. You know, man, I'm really blessed.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. Snowfall. Talk to me about and before we talk about Snowfall, as far as roles though, because I feel like, you know, you're real conscious and real woke and real, you know, strategic on moves that you make. You know, you're real humble, you carry yourself a certain type of way in this business. Um are you real selective when it comes down to roles that you may be presented, or talk to me about that, because I just feel like with you is different.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody comes at this business from different vantage points, right? Different
Mhm.
perspective, right? So
Right.
I've heard, I've heard before. I remember, I think Denzel Washington had this, uh, or at least he was quoted, or he told a story about that you're defined by some of the first projects that you do coming into this business. And he
Mhm.
spoke upon how there were certain roles that he wouldn't take because of a certain trajectory he had for himself, a certain
Right.
way that certain way that he saw himself. And I I think that that's amazing. But that ain't everybody walk. It sure ain't my walk. You
Right.
know, I remember coming out to Los Angeles and not wanting to take a bartending job or a, you know, a waitering job or do side work. You know, I remember that. And if it was do a, excuse my French, a shit burger film,
Right. Right.
or do or you know, or flip a burger, I was like, yo, this is closer to what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it. So I just feel like everybody has a different vantage point, seeing things a different way. And now that I'm at a different stage in my life, career, I may look at stuff from the vantage point, from the POV that I have now, right? But that wasn't
Mhm.
the POV that I had at 21 or at 30, you know?
Right.
So you got to allow yourself to be able to evolve. And as artists, that's one of the most important things, is that we evolve. That even as men, you know, as people, we evolve. I shouldn't have the same mindset that I had when I was 25. So even
Right.
though we don't want people to change and we want things to stay constant, we also have to give people the ability to evolve, for
Right.
ability to do things that they thought they may have never done,
Right.
or to not do things that they used to do, you know?
Right. The late great John Singleton. Talk to me about,
Yeah.
Man, I sit back and I'm like, just anybody that's able to be in this man's presence and rest in heaven, man. Talk to me about that, man. Like, you was able to hug him, man, was able to dap him up. What was that whole experience, meeting him, working with him, being around him? What was that like for you? I want to know.
Man, it was impactful. It was impactful. It was that was my nigga, man.
Right.
Call it what it is, man. He was a good dude. Sorry to use that term, but I keep it how I feel it.
Right.
John Singleton, brother, just I consider him a monument of a man and an artist, true Renaissance man. Always had a distinct way of looking at things and a way of expressing himself that just captivated your imagination. He had a love for life that is just unmatched, and a love for our art and a love for our people, a love for telling our stories, you know,
Right.
unapologetically telling our stories too. A true,
Yeah.
speaking truth to power, and sometimes he breaking eggs to make his omelet. And I learned a lot. I was able to learn a lot from him in the few amount of years that we were able to work together, about 3.5 years. But Snowfall is a testament, one of his last books in his volume, and I was really fortunate to work with him.
Man, I just, I sit back and, watching all of his work, man, he's blessed us with so much, touched the world, and to hear you just express that, I really appreciate that, because that opportunity, man, is far in between, just to be in the presence of greatness like
Yeah,
that and be able to pick those gems up like that. It's so much to learn, and it shows. It shows with everybody that he's ever worked with. It shows. Everybody took something from him. I just think that that's dope. Snowfall, the road, Jerome, man. I mean, just you do your thing all the way around the board. It just, you keep drawing us in and drawing us in and was drawing us in. Talk to me about the reading for that role and being able to embody it in such a way.
as far as what the process of getting the role, or
Yeah,
just
the process of
involving
getting the
with it.
role and actually bringing it to life, because you can get the role, but like I feel like you brought it all the way to life to where you can really feel it. It's real.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's just some latent stories, and I feel like, we are the I feel like I am a storyteller of my time, and I feel like the '80s, although it wasn't my times. I was born. I was,
Right.
what I mean? Like I was the kid with the pajamas with the foot in them, and I was able to be a mirror of some of the things that I saw in my family, in my
Right.
community, and no matter where we at as Black people in the United States, like no matter what city, what county, what state, there's there's this shared culture, sometimes a shared trauma, a shared joy, and a lot of times a shared theme, whether it's Jim Crow, whether it's a great migration, whether it's a crack epidemic or a mass prison incarceration. Like we go through these things together. And
Right.
since I have my own version of knowing what that is firsthand coming from New York, it was really important to me to understand the specificity of what that is for Los Angeles, to be very specific, South Central.
Right.
And I have people to help me do that, and to research that, and to, you know, to make that as much of a three-dimensional portrayal as possible, to not look at it as a character, but to look at it as really paying homage in the channel what my brothers from South Central, how they lived, how they talk, how they ate, how they walk, how they make love, how they, you know, some of the ills of life, how they do that.
Right.
It's just a real three-dimensional portrayal. Really important to me. And the spirit of who those men were in that time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whether they doing right or wrong, however you judge it, just the spirit of like, this is who we are.
Right.
You know, that was important to me, and important to a lot of people. Important to John Singleton, you know,
Right.
important to our show creators, and Dave Andron and Tommy Shlamy and FX, the studio network. Like, it was important to everybody. But mainly, you represent the community, so
Right.
uphold the, you know, do the work. Uphold, you know, it means a lot to me when people from South Central come up to me and be like, "Yo, that you my uncle," right?
Right.
Like, you, because that's what I wanted to channel, you know.
Right. Right.
So that's important to me. I like that. It's an ego stroke, but more importantly, it makes me feel like it's a job well done, you know.
Absolutely. You know, I want to ask you this too. You know, with because you've been in the game for, you know, for a minute. You've been putting in the work, um, playing so many different characters. From your perspective, you know, is it a difficult task to, when playing these characters for such an extensive period of time? Is it difficult to turn it off when it's time and then turn it back on, or as long as you're playing this character for however the duration of the time, you just basically trying to, of course when you're around family or whatever, but really just trying to stay in that character from a mental standpoint? I always wanted to know that.
Interesting question. Yeah, that's part of, you know, there's a way to get to every character. Most people don't explain or tell you that you're gonna need a way to get out.
Right.
Our minds and and what makes us who we are is a very thin line between what is real and what is fake. You know,
Right. Right.
we often got friends that seem to have illusions of grandeur, and you be like, you ain't who you think you are, fam. Right?
All right.
So imagine walking in another psyche, you know, for years on end, and then taking that off and putting it on and all that. So yeah, there's definitely steps that, to me, that's what being a professional is. um I think there's a mental illness or a mental health component to acting, and that all actors should take that very serious, just as we should, period, in society, especially, you know, with two black men talking. Mental health is a big issue in our community. But yeah, you got to take care of yourself, and you got to have a way to get back to zero, get back to who you are, if that's where you at in your journey.
Right.
Some people choose not to. Some people choose to embrace certain characteristics of the characters that they play, and you probably can see it in some of their personalities moving forward in their careers. You can see, um, you know, wow, after they played this, they seemed a little different after that.
Right.
I
Right.
there's no way that I probably can. Yeah, there's definitely parts of me constructing a Jerome character that'll probably live with me. You know, it's just
Right.
You're gonna laugh a certain way because I'm borrowing stuff from myself anyway. It may be exaggerated, it may be
Right.
overplayed, it may be underplayed, you know. So yeah, it's a good question though. But that that's the life of an actor and putting on different hats and trading out hats for others and all that.
I like, and that's interesting. Bill Moseley, I was blessed to interview the horror icon, and I asked him about the role he played in Devil's Rejects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like touched on kind of the same thing that you said, because he depicted the role so well to the point to where he said that he had to get mental help because the role was so intense, and he had things that he had arguments with Rob Zombie on, things he just didn't want to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I just thought that it was interesting. And sometimes and I ask that because when we see celebrities and actors, and we see them from a consumer eye a certain way, and we feel like everything's good. So
Mm.
I'm glad that you did touch on that, because when things happen, it's shocking to the world. It's like, well, why would he kill himself, or why would she do that, or whatever? It seemed like everything was going great at the height of their careers and got so much
Mm.
going on. What could they possibly be going through?
Yeah. No,
It's
I
interesting.
get you. No, I get you. Like they say, it's the best of times, it's the worst of times. A lot of times, you know.
Right.
You never know what people are going through behind the scenes, and often while people are dealing with some of the greatest heights of their career, they may be
Right.
dealing with anything in their lives, you know. But
Right.
but it is also what you sign up for,
Right.
and there's a responsibility with that, and I feel like the mental health component is a responsibility of each performer to take it upon themselves to get the type of help, just the same way that you may need a coach to help you get into a character. The truth is, you may need a coach, therapist, workout partner, spiritual advisor to
Right.
get out. And that also puts on the the responsibility of each role. There's a price to pay for each role, in a sense, and sometimes that price is too much to pay for your mental health.
Mm.
That's why, to me, there's also that part of, like, a lot of times people will say, "Well, will you play this or will you play that?" And it depends.
Right.
Depends on where your life is. Depends on where your health is, where your vitality lies in that moment. Can you take on that responsibility and
Right.
do it, and up to the level of what you feel is proficient? And if you can't, you might want to leave that alone. You
Right.
know, yeah,
As your star is rising, the way that it is shining bright, um balancing work and family, you know finding the time, because there's a lot of time that goes into what you do, your career, your profession. Um but finding balance, though, self time. Do you find that? Do Have you been able to find that, even as you're rising and soaring at the level that you're on now?
yeah. I mean, that's the balance that I think we all carry in life.
Hmm.
I remember my parents working 2, 3 jobs
Right.
when I was young. I remember being a latchkey kid at certain points when I was young, where it was just about me. Like, you got to make your own breakfast, got to get yourself to school, come home, do some homework. Might see my mom for like 2 hours because she working the third shift or something.
Right. Right.
So, um, you know, we come from a people that can handle certain things, hopefully, um, within moderation. And I feel like I said, it's a blessing to be able to do what you love, and then for other people to be able to experience that with you. And if that's your family or your friends and stuff, and you have time to share that, you have time for your own you know, self care and wellness. It's just amazing, you know, and balance is really key. So you know, that's a everyday thing, right? You
Right.
know,
Right.
that's an everyday thing. That's something that you're tweaking every day, no matter who you are. And I think actors are no different than you know, everyone else when it comes to that.
How do you keep your ego in check, man? You know, I mean, us as men, you know, we have to contain it at times, you know, like anything else. But on the celebrity side, you know, you know, you come from the Apollo. I mean, you know, if I sit up here and name all of the films and television shows, and I mean, you've been really putting in a lot of work. And how does how does the family, your friends, people that watched you come up in this game and stars shining, you know what I mean? Like shining, you know what I mean? How's that for you now? You know, are you able to still move around normally, or you know, when you out and about, or like what's that like for you?
Yeah, that's challenging. It's getting a little challenging. I ain't gonna
Right, I
lie.
know it is.
It's getting a little challenging. Um, but I kind of live my life by principles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember I remember seeing when I was taking it back to the Apollo. I remember seeing I used to work the door at the Apollo. I used to have to open the door. I'd be like, "Welcome to the Apollo Theater, where stars are born and legends are made."
Right.
Walk on into the orchestra, right? And
Right.
that was my joint. I'd be at the door, and I remember watching um, a celebrity at the time, um, a grandmother. She had like three little kids with her, and she could barely handle these kids. They was all over the place.
Right.
But they noticed the celebrity, and they was like, oh, they was like, Nana, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
so they was kind of scared to go over, but not really. They bad. So she was like, let me go and do it for y'all. Do it right. And he was talking at the time. He was talking to some other people.
Right.
And they went up to him. She was like, excuse me, sir. You know, these are my babies. And they just want, you know, autograph, whatever they was asking
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
And she asked, and this celebrity, he went, don't you see me talking?
What?
How rude can you be? You don't see me talking here? I'm having a conversation.
Wow.
And he kept on with who he was talking to. And the lady face was on the floor, right?
Right.
And the kids, you know, they didn't really care really, but they was just, you know, they sputtered on off. But I watched that, and it was really impressionable to me. It was so impressionable, you know. Here I am at the Apollo Theater. He's a celebrity. I'm looking over here. I want to be him. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
I'm holding doors open, bro. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting for him to go through the door, truthfully, so I could be like, hey, you know, welcome, stars are born, and give me a role. Yo, let me get a role or something.
Yeah, you
Don't I
know.
do the job real good? You know what I mean? And and not that I still didn't want to be put on, but to my core, it disgusted me. It
Mm-hmm.
disgusted me, his behavior, you know. So in that moment, I remember making a rule for myself that no matter where I got in my career, I would always respect the relationship between me as the artist and the audience, that they make me, that I am actually in service to an audience.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I don't care how much money or how this don't feel like the right time and I need some time for myself, well then find some time for yourself. Learn to move accordingly, and move more efficiently so that you can have, like you mentioning, your self-care, your own time.
Right.
But I don't have the right to act out with the very people that support and enable my career. That's how I feel. I
Man.
still feel like that. Hopefully, I continue to feel like that because things do change. But it was impressed upon me in that way, and that's how I go about my life. I like to just be a man of codes, and just if I have that code, then no matter what happens, because things happen and they'll make you like, hey yo, what's good?
Right.
Like you playing me
Right.
too close, so you. But because I have that thing in the back of my head, it's burnt on my soul. Um, it's just that's what it is. I don't deserve the right. You feel me? I don't
Right.
deserve the right to act different. I don't deserve the right to act like I'm better than. I'm in service. So when you got something like that on you, probably if I acted any different, it would probably be taken away from me because we know what that is. That's a contract, bro. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Damn, man. Boy, I tell you, another
That's
thing
what
that,
it
that,
is.
that another thing I admire about you, man, is your community service, your charity work. I thought that was just super super dope. The grassroots organization, as well as the awareness movement. Talk to me about the importance of finding the time to give back to the community. With yourself. And these communities. Talk to me about the importance of that because that really stood out to me, just diving into studying your bio and looking up a lot of information on you, and that really really stood out to me. Talk to me about how important that is to you.
Well, it's important to me because growing up, you know, I would see the people that was ambulance chasing. I would see, I got a cynic side to me too.
Right.
You know, just um, and I always used to view service as being performative. I see so many people performative. Like if they gonna give you bread, they gonna give you bread in front of the camera. For
Right.
me, that doesn't resonate with me, right? So I had to find what was what touched me as a brand of service. Um, what meant something to me. So I got together with a bunch of other creatives in 2014 and started a organization called the Awareness Movement.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, that was off the backs of Ahmaud Arbery and a few of the senseless killings that had been happening. That wasn't Ahmaud Arbery. That was actually Philando Castillo. And a lot of the things that were going on around that time. So it started with voting initiatives. It started with, you know, doing charitable work in Haiti. It started with anywhere where we felt that our heartstrings pulled to be impactful, to be in the community, to be of service, right?
Right.
So most recently, I found myself being attracted and pulled by the heartstrings of Black femicide. Um, one, a Black woman is killed every 6 hours in the United States.
Really.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's epidemic. It isn't talked about. It isn't on the news. Doesn't get the same type of coverage as mass shootings or
Right.
even Black men being killed by the police. But is more is a bigger epidemic. It happens more often, and that can be from domestic violence to trafficking to the random senseless killings of on a weekend of a drive-by or something that outbreaks in a party. But a lot of it is quite often is domestic.
Right.
So Black men that we live in the same community with our Black women, we should be taking accountability and helping find ways to remedy that. So one of the things that I've been doing and I want to continue doing is do a national effort to arm and teach to defend Black women, for Black women to be able to arm and defend themselves, and for our community to help and aid and assist and not watch Black women be assaulted and close our door like that's happening in the other door. I hear it over there. Mind your business.
Right.
You feel me? So those are one of the initiatives. So we did something with a Black-owned gun store, Redstone. Big shout out to Redstone Armory in Burbank, California. And we'll continue to do initiatives like that to bring awareness to, to issues like Black femicide. So, so it could be anything, honestly, that pulls at my heartstrings. It could be, I came up in a Catholic school, Archdiocese school, all boys Black. And I've recently found a school here in Los Angeles to do charitable work with, so it could be in any way that I find ways to do charitable things, and that speak to me, that come off authentic to me,
Right. Willie Mays, man, it's going down. It's going down. You got to tell me
the good stuff.
You gotta tell me, man, because Royal.
The Royal.
Please talk to me about Royal, man. This is just
July 15th. July 15th. Let's we'll be in select theaters. We'll also have a VOD release, video on demand. You can get it on iTunes. Next day on Apple, Amazon, Vudu. This is a story about the baseball hero, World Series hero, Willie Mays Aikens. He went to the World Series in 1980.
Facts.
For the Kansas City Royals, and he hit 2 home runs in back-to-back. He's the first player not the first player, but he's one of, I think, only 2 players to hit multiple home runs in multiple games,
right,
in the World Series. And that bat is at Cooperstown. I was able to touch the bat, bro.
What?
That my brother, we went to Cooperstown with Willie, and they brought his bat out of the archives. I was able to touch the actual bat, swing that bat. That boy was swinging a thing, and
I know you got a picture of that. You holding the bat in hand.
I got the video. I got the video. But so we went to Cooperstown. But this story is about that. Pretty much 3 years after that, Willie Mays Aikens was out of baseball, and he had received a mandatory minimum drug sentence of 24 years for selling crack cocaine to an undercover police officer. He ended up doing 14 of those. He was released early with the prison reform under the Obama administration. But this story is about him reacclimating himself back into the community, picking his life up. It's a story about second chances. It's a story about reingratiating yourself back into your community, picking up the pieces with your family.
Right.
It's a second chance, redemptive story. And I think we did a pretty good job with it. I think the audience is gonna really feel it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I stop for a minute because I often, when I'm talking about it, I think about Willie, because I'm seeing him, you know what I mean? Like I'm watching this guy at Cooperstown with a bat that he broke records with.
Right.
This dude was touted as the next Reggie Jackson at the time, but career was taken away from him because of himself. He was in his own way. He often says that he was glad that he got the time, because if he
Really?
didn't, he would be dead. Yeah, he said going to jail was the best thing ever happened to him.
Wow.
He's a remarkable brother, man. And he came back out of prison with a renewed faith and a godliness about him, and a service, being in service, and an accountability about him that I think really is unmatched. So I would love for an audience to go check it. I put my foot in it, and it's in theaters, like I said, in VOD and cable streaming July 15th.
Oh,
Let's go. Let's go.
man. Listen, man. I ain't gonna lie. You're doing it, man. Dark energy pictures.
Come on.
Talk to me about that, man. You are creating opportunity for people as well, man. Pouring back into young actors, pouring opportunities back into people. Talk to me about creating that. Your own production company, Dark Energy Pictures. Talk to me about that. What does that mean to you?
That's exactly what, the Royal story is. That's co-proed with my production company. I have another film coming out next year. That's a drama, coming of age, a story about Black men and their fathers. That is co-produced by my production company. But we span through all genres of the art, whether it's from sci-fi to dramas to comedies. But I'm just looking to produce films that pull at my heartstrings, that I feel like stories that have gone unnoticed, that provide a different look at our humanity, our culture, and ultimately will be entertaining, make money,
right,
and provide jobs, provide opportunities, and hopefully change some lives with the art.
And I gotta get that date again. And are we gonna have
July 15th?
And are you gonna have any? I know there are gonna be some advertisement content that's gonna be coming out or whatever. We would love to assist with helping promote on our end, to push it out there through our network as well. So I would love to get with you, and any content that you guys might have that need that extra promotion.
LSPR is gonna be on that. LSPR is gonna be on that.
Yes, indeed, man. Let's get some shout outs, get some roses out to you got a great fan base, you got an amazing family, super support, man. A lot of people really showing a lot of love, man, and support for you. Anybody that you want to give roses to, man, I just feel like we should give these people their roses right now.
Well, yeah, we could start with, like I said, my publicist, Cammy and LaCheryl.
Yes.
LSPR, and we can end with my family. My family, my new son and daughter, and my wife.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yo.
Thank you. So yeah, it does truly take a village to make a well-rounded, productive person in society. And we got to remember that, and we got to lead with the great examples, because we all gonna face our challenges, but it's about us reaching beyond those challenges and get into a place where we can see beyond ourselves to help other people, because it really enriches your experience to be able to see other people also successful, and know that you may have played a small part of that, so man, I'm ecstatic to be with you. I can't wait till we do it again
all the time. We family now, so I mean
that's
all the time.
To all the viewers, and definitely check me out July 15th in theaters and on VOD with The Royal, and Snowfall will be coming back in 2023. And I have a few other projects that'll be in between there, but just stay in touch with me. I'm on all the social media platforms as Amin Joseph.
Absolutely. Let's put them social platforms out. There's any other ways that people could get connected with you, follow you, maybe want to tap in with you on with your charity, your organizations, anything. We have any other information that we could put out there for anybody?
Yes, just aminjoseph.com or Amin Joseph at any social media handle.
Absolutely, man. Listen, Amin, man, I gotta tell you, for me and the Vibe team, I just want to thank you so much, man. And we wishing you more blessings and more success with everything that you're doing right now, my brother, and everything that I know for a fact that you're gonna be doing in the future, man. We love you. We so proud of you, man, and we behind you 1,000. Thank you so much, man.
I received that, and I'm bringing it right back. I send it right back to you. Same energy, baby. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's the one and only Amin Joseph. Listen, if y'all are not subscribed to the Vibe Show 97.9, make sure that y'all tap in, subscribe, hit that notification and bell notifications. Make sure you share this exclusive interview. Shout out to everybody that was listening on the radio airwaves, and shout out to everybody that pulled up to show my special guest, Mr. Amin Joseph. So much love, man. We are out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. Also, listen, man, y'all make sure that y'all push that love out there. Push that love out there. Please, man. I always try to just tell them, man, more love, less hate, man, definitely makes the world a better place. Vibe Show, me and Amin, we are out of here. Peace.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir, man. Love you, man.
Much love, man. I appreciate it. That was painless.
Absolutely.